Hello everyone, welcome to a complete updated shield bot guide on Thoma. Today we'll be going over his talents, artifacts, constellations, weapon, and be discussing his kit in general. Whether it is a good idea to build him as a shield bot, or is it good idea to build him as a support like a Shincho. Let's get started. Now, talents. For the normal attack, it is very simple. It's just a 4 consecutive spear strikes, which is very clean. That's it. That's just nothing much to his normal attack. Now, the main part of Thoma's kit is his elemental skill and his elemental burst. Let's start. Elemental skill, Blazing Blessing. On use, Thoma does pyro damage and applies pyro to himself, so that it can help in cleaning debuffs. Next, he also gains what we call a Blazing Barrier, which absorbs 250% of pyro damage more effectively. Now, this Blazing Barrier has a special trait. It's like this. Each time you refresh, the existing damage absorption gets stacked up on a new Blazing Barrier. So that's why whenever you see a Thoma showcase or a support Thoma, people always go for his skill and then his burst. So his damage absorption can be stacked and its duration refreshes. His skill is on a 15-second cooldown whose shield is 8 seconds. And it is an HP scaling shield. Alright? Let's keep this in mind. It's an HP scaling shield. Alright? Now, since Thoma's skill is a 15-second cooldown and it generates about like 3 to 4 particles, this makes Thoma a heavy reliant on energy recharge. So if you don't have enough energy recharge, you cannot have 100% uptime on his burst during cooldowns, which is not ideal. Now, how much energy recharge does Thoma needs? It is recommended that you go from anywhere from 190 to 220 or anywhere from 200 to 220. But as long as Thoma can get his shield on cooldown, that's enough. It's mostly around 190 to 220. Okay, next his burst. When you use your burst, you become a Shincho. Okay, Thoma becomes a Shincho but a pyro version with long ICDs that deals pyro damage called Fiery Collapse every 1 second. This is activated when the active character does normal attack. Alright? Now, the thing is, this Fiery Collapse damage is a attack scaling, and your shield is an HP scaling. So here comes the debate whether you should build him as a sub-DPS Shincho-like or a tanky Thoma. So the answer is quite simple. It's better if you build him as a shielder because his main potential lies in being a shielder. And Fiery Collapse damage scaling is quite lower than other supports like Shincho, Shangling, or Beidou and other supports. So you have better options for a support for your main DPS, and Thoma may or may not fulfill that role. So that's why it is very recommended that you build a shield bot Thoma. Okay, although there is a passive, this one, which increases the Fiery Collapse damage based on Thoma's max HP, but it's only 2.2% and you can't even upgrade it to get a higher scaling. So this is quite negligible at some point, and that's the main reason why you should build a shield Thoma reference. I am looking from a meta point of view, and if you look from that point of view, Shincho, Shangling, Beidou, all these supports will fulfill that role better than Thoma does. Okay, and if you see a C5, no wait, hold up. If you see a C5 Thoma with all the stacks, so you might be wondering, what are these stacks? Let me tell the stacks first. When your active character obtains or refreshes a blazing barrier, this character's shield strength will be increased for 5% for 6 seconds. This can be triggered every 3 seconds, so max 5 stacks. So 5%, 5 stacks. That's 25% shield strength from his passive. Okay, so his this passive is quite better than the increased damage on fiery collapse based on Thoma's max HP. Okay, I'm not saying that this is bad. You can build around a attack and maybe stack up some HP for some higher damage. Okay, and his HP scaling shield is also not that bad. It's pretty good if you raise it to high levels. Mine is a level 4 because I have a C3 Thoma. I haven't raised my Thoma yet. No. That's about his talents. Okay, once again, let's go over them. A 4-hit combo. Nothing special. Has normal charge attack and plunging ones. Main part, Blazing Blessing. Does AoE not AoE. On use, does a kick and then pyro damage, and applies pyro to himself. Gets a shield that has the ability to restack the damage absorption when a new blazing barrier is obtained, and its duration refreshing. That's the main part about Thoma's kit. Thoma's shield, and the burst on use deals AoE pyro damage, and it makes your Thoma like a Xingqiu but a pyro version with long ICD cooldowns that deals pyro damage like Xingqiu's rain swords every 1 second on the use of a normal attack. Alright, this passive, it gives you 25% shield strength, 5% every 0.3 seconds, max 5 stacks for 6 seconds each stack. Okay, and this one gives you a little extra damage based on Thoma's max HP. That is your fiery collapse damage is increased to 20% of Thoma's max HP. Now, this one is a fishing one, so whenever you fish, you have 20% chance of getting a double catch. Okay, so that's his talents. Now, for Thoma's artifacts, best one is 4-piece noblesse. Okay, Thoma doesn't have a like a specific set built into him, but 4-piece noblesse, if you have no noblesse user, is a good option. Okay, because it is like a general set for all your supports. If you don't have a noblesse, just slap in a 4-piece noblesse for Thoma and it'll work fine. Okay, and if you have a noblesse user in your team, maybe Bennett or Xingqiu or Beidou or someone, you can go for 2-piece Tendency of Millilith and 2-piece Emblem of Severed Fate if you have a little less energy recharge. And if you have sufficient energy recharge, you can go for 2-piece Tendency of the Millilith for the 20% HP and 2-piece Tracing Bow Light. Alright? Now, if you're building Thoma as a support, support like Xingqiu, going for 4-piece Emblem will be the best option, right? Okay, that's that, and that's all. Now about his stats. The main thing for Shielder is that you need to go for energy recharge and HP percent, and if you're building a sub DPS like attack, crit rate, crit damage, stuff like that, right? Now, for the main stats for a shield bot Thoma will be energy recharge for his sands if you don't have enough. Goblets will be HP percent, and circlet will also be HP percent, right? And for sub DPS like Xingqiu, I believe it is attack, pyro damage, and crit rate or crit damage. Alright? 5-star, anything that has energy recharge will work. Okay, Skyward Spine, Engulfing Lightning. Okay, I'm talking for a shield bot. If you don't have enough energy recharge, there's no HP scaling polearm till now. So you can go for Skyward Spine. I do have a Skyward Spine. A Skyward Spine or a Engulfing Lightning if you are a Mega Whale and you have a extra Engulfing Lightning. Just you can give it to Thoma. For a more damage-based Thoma, you can go for Staff of Homa or a Jade Spear. Okay? Once again, if you're building a shield bot, Skyward Spine or Engulfing Lightning. For a damage base, Staff of Homa and Jade Spear. Now, 4-star, there's only one thing that you can go for a shield bot, alright? That is a Favonius Lance. Okay, it is like the best in slot. Okay, like it's like the 4-star. Nothing can be better than a Favonius Lance because of its energy recharge, substats, and its passive. Okay, so then if you're running a Favonius Lance, it is good and recommended that you go for 1:2 ratio so that you can proc the passive, right? Now for a damage based 4-star, it will be the catch. No argument there. Okay, so it has energy recharge, it has crit rate and burst damage built into its passive. Okay, if you're going for a physical one, this Crescent Pike or this Dragon Spear is a Dragon Spine Spear is a good option. Now, some people will be like, what about Black Tassel? It has secondary stat as a HP. Now, listen. It has a HP %, okay? What is the use if you have a tanky shield when you can't even use it, okay? So if you, for some reason, you have some like very high energy recharge without using a Favonius Lance or a catch or any other energy recharge scaling weapon, then sure, go for it. Go for a Black Tassel. Okay, but it is like better if you go for Favonius Lance. Even in the trial, character trials, the Thoma always uses a Favonius Lance with 4-piece noblesse. Okay, once again, Black Tassel, if you have enough energy recharge, that is from 200 to 220 or 190 to 220, anywhere between that, you can. And if you have like enough energy recharge to proc your burst during cooldown. Remember that. Just don't go on slapping a Black Tassel for a more beefier shield. Okay? For the constellations. Okay, so Thoma is a character that can get away with C0. If you have his constellation, that's good. Let me tell you what his constellations does. C1 is just decreasing the cooldown 3 seconds on your skill and your burst. C2 is increasing the burst duration for more 3 seconds. C3 and C5 increases your talents plus 3. C4 is probably the best amazing talent for Thoma, and if you're going for constellations, C4 is quite recommended because every time you use your Thoma's burst, you get 15 energy recharge, 15 energy for Thoma. This is really good and can literally cut off your requirement for energy recharge. C6, okay, C6 is like a buffing kind of talent. Whenever a blazing barrier is obtained or refreshed, the damage dealt by all party members, normal charge plunging attack is increased by 15% for 6 seconds. It is not the best because sometimes your rotation will take 6 seconds and then all of the buff is gone. Okay, so it's a okay talent, you can use it, but the best talent for Thoma would be his C4. Okay, so that he can get his energy recharge problem solved. Okay, so main problem for Thoma is that he does not have many teams that you can fit him in. Okay, some people might go like, well, he can act as a String Shell, why not slap him in a national team? Okay, the problem when keeping Thoma in a national team is that he has long ICD cooldowns, so he can't be much of a help in proccing elemental reactions. Okay, but if not, one of the best teams and most often used is this one: Hutao, Thoma, Xingqiu, and Kazuha. It is a good comp, and it is one of the best comps that Thoma can fit into at the moment. There is not many comps. You can use him as a shielder in any different comps, but he doesn't fit in the team. It's just like an odd one out. Okay, Thoma is like an odd one out. Characters like Diona or Zhongli, these all can have like a last minute shielding, but Thoma requires you to use your elemental skill and then your elemental burst to gain your full use of his shield.